Right, well, let's speak to one of them, shall we? Stuart Pringle is the managing director at Silverstone. Hello, Stuart. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Steve. Hello, Jenny.
Hi.
And congratulations, Stuart, because, I mean, this must have been quite a ride the past few weeks and months.
Well, yes, it has been, but I'm conscious of where we fit in the challenges of the world. You know, there are many people who have had some very, very difficult situations to deal with, and people putting themselves in harm's way. We're just trying to get a sports event organised, but in its own little way, it has been, frankly, pretty stressful, pretty challenging, and it's precisely the point that Jenny just made. It's the unpredictability. It's not knowing what's ahead, but you know, it's no different for our business and our sport to everybody else. You know, we're all just trying to get through this. It looks as though there is some a way forward now, but it's still quite a long way away, and we've got a number of hurdles to clear, certainly in terms of having our plans approved and signed off by the government. We know what they need to be. We know how we need to, the direction we need to push and the work we need to do to get there. But things could change, as Jenny's correctly said.
So what sort of level is your confidence at right now?
Listen, I'm confident, Steve. I think that we will get everything ready, and you know, we are as a team at Silverstone. We are used to changing our plans. We're having to deal with difficult, dynamic situations. We've had some real challenges. 2018, our MotoGP, the Motorcycle Grand Prix, got rained off on the Sunday. That was very, very challenging for all involved. 2012, we had an absolutely stinking wet F1 race. Even many people in the team were working at the one in 2000, which was a mud bath too. So, you know, we're used to dealing with the challenges, and we have plans for multiple scenarios. But all of them have got to be finessed over the coming weeks. My colleagues are working extremely hard right now. Actually, many of them at the circuit now, working on this as we speak.
Yeah, you're used to dealing with hurdles, and you're also used to overcoming hurdles. When you talk about all of the different things you've had to deal with in the past, I think it's only Great Britain and Italy who've never missed a Grand Prix. So that heritage alone is so worth protecting before you even think about the huge number of people in the industry and the industries related to Formula One.
No, you're absolutely right. There's a balance to be struck. We're very proud of the central role that Great Britain, the United Kingdom, has played in the Formula One World Championship. And indeed, the industry to which you refer has grown up around Silverstone precisely because for the 70 years of the Formula One Drivers' World Championship that we're celebrating this year, or we will be if we ever get going, it's grown up because we've had a race in this country, and we are the global centre of the sport. But also from a Silverstone perspective, because the circuit is owned by racing drivers, it's owned by the British Racing Drivers Club, a small group of some 800 or so racing drivers and those who've helped them achieve their on-track success. We want to keep that heritage going. We feel a sense of responsibility. The BRDC sees itself as the guardians of the bloodline of the sport in this country, and I'm really pleased that we are going to do something unusual by running two races. Austria will be the first country to run two races in the World Championship, but we will be the other one this season. So it's another Silverstone bit of history that we'll be making.
And Stuart, the second race is the 70th anniversary Grand Prix. There were lots of ideas of what people could call it, but that's what they've gone with. Will you be able to give it a kind of festival feel, even though there won't be any fans there?
Well, I think the fact that we've got this heritage gives us something to get stuck into. There's some fantastic footage. There's some memorable moments. It's a great pity that the wonderful parade of cars that we had planned for the fans to see, we won't be able to show this year. Actually, I'm pretty keen to show them on the 71st anniversary when everybody's back next year, because I don't think we need to be a slave to history that much. But you know, Silverstone has played its part in the championship over the years, and we've got some key bits to celebrate. And yeah, I think we will get a festival feel. I think, you know, I've been speaking to the broadcasters, and they're really keen to get stuck in. We've got a wonderful new museum at Silverstone, the Silverstone Experience Museum, and it's got a fantastic archive. So we've got access to all of the bits and pieces in there. We've got many cars on display, and hopefully, if the situation the coronavirus situation allows, that museums will be able to open in this country before too long, and fans who are not able to attend the Grand Prix will this summer be able to go and soak up some of the Silverstone history by going to our museum at Silverstone. But yeah, it's nice to have a theme, and we're lucky to have heritage at Silverstone that we can pin this thing around.
So normally, Silverstone and Wimbledon clash. Now, for sports fans, that could be the best weekend of sporting action. You throw in a few other events. If it's Olympics time, all of those things. It's like a cacophony of sport. Now, that's not going to be the same this year. We're going to be slightly limited. Is that a real chance for Silverstone and Formula One to reach out to new fans potentially without any clashes?
Yeah, I think it probably is, Jenny. It's a challenge. On the one hand, of course, you want your sport to be the one that dominates the back pages and on occasion, perhaps the front. But certainly you want to be on the back page, not several pages in. But equally, for the fans that attend the Grand Prix, we've had some absolutely fantastic afternoons. You'll recall very well where we've all sort of moved over to the main stage and watched the football or the cricket final, the Olympics. Sorry, not the Olympics, because they start a little bit afterwards. But making that afternoon a sport is an amazing live sport event, and being able to flick the giant screens over. And actually, if you're just sitting at home and you're watching it, to be able to go from one great sporting moment to another, we absolutely have been the centre of some of the greatest sporting weekends of the summer in recent years. But I do think that by being top of the bill this summer, hopefully we may introduce some people. And we all love our own sport, and sometimes we don't try other sports. And actually, if you're a sports fan, then just getting stuck into something is a great experience. And I think, I don't think I've ever been so excited to hear flat racing as I have been this morning. But it's just great to get sport back up and running, and I'm sure we will pick up some new people. And fingers crossed, we'll have an exciting race. We're lucky at Silverstone. Generally, our venerable old circuit throws up some absolute humdingers. So fingers crossed, we'll have that again.
Stuart, how important was it for Silverstone to secure these races, or is it? Because we've still got to get them away. But for the future of Silverstone, was it vital that this happened?
It wasn't vital, but it was vastly preferable. I say that because we're a business that only started to trade again this week. Midway through last week, for the first time since the third week of March. That's a really tricky position for every business. We are a leisure business, and we have not been doing any trade. So it's really important that we get up and running again. It's going to be an exceptionally difficult year for us, but having these Grand Prix will make it a little bit easier. It's not going to ease the pain completely, but it's absolutely better to be doing it than not. And certainly from the historic perspective that Steve mentioned, I think it's really important that we keep that legacy going of Silverstone and the UK always having had a round of the championship, or Great Britain and the UK having had a round of the championship, most of which have been hosted at Silverstone. So yeah, it's really important for us, and we just got to get through this year, all of us, haven't we? We've got to cross our fingers that 2021 is unaffected and life can get back to some sort of normal. I'm extremely grateful to all the fans who are not able to attend this year. I've been overwhelmed with the messages of support. People saying, it was the right decision to wait a few weeks to decide whether or not we could run with the public present. It was the right decision to call it off, and the vast majority of them have said, "Don't give me my ticket money back. Please just hold my seat for next year." And many of them have done that to be supportive of Silverstone, and because they know that keeping that cash with our business will help our circuit survive through this challenging time. So I'm extremely grateful to the fans for their support.
If you've just joined us, by the way, this is Stuart Pringle, the Managing Director at Silverstone, on the guest list with myself and Jenny Gow. One of the things I was wondering about, Stuart, is I looked at the F1 calendar this morning, and because the second Silverstone race is this anniversary Grand Prix, the names of the two Grand Prix are different, which immediately gives them a different feel. I guess this is kind of following on from what Jenny was asking earlier. Maybe there is an opportunity for the anniversary race to do something completely different with it, so it will almost feel like a totally separate, totally different race.
Quite possibly, Steve. There was a little bit of a rumour swirling around probably 6 weeks or so ago that perhaps the second race could be run in the other direction. I was a little mischievous and didn't shut that rumour down, because actually the reality of us being able to do that is absolutely zero. The track is designed with the runoff areas appropriate for one direction of travel, not the other, and it simply would not be realistic to change it. But there have been some suggestions in the last fortnight or so that perhaps there could be a reverse grid, so the slowest start at the front and the fastest start at the back. Of course, those with the most to lose, i.e. those that are normally up at the front, are less keen on that, but those who consider this as opportunity are pretty enthusiastic. Those decisions are for the Formula One World Championship. They're not for us as a venue, but we've worked hand in glove with Formula One on the planning of this race, and we've got an awful lot more work to do to get the whole thing underway. And so, if that's what they want to do, we can work with them. But it's been suggested that if ever that sort of thing was going to be tried, now is the time. In theory, the season hasn't started, but it would be a very late change. And, I think everybody is probably dialed into running in the traditional format. But stranger things have happened in our sport, that's for sure.
The rules decisions, obviously, as you say, are with the governing body. But I was reading this morning about Wolves in the Premier League, who've come up with this idea of a video crowd mosaic. So are there little touches, maybe specific little touches that you've already thought about, which you as the circuit could implement?
None that I can share with you at the moment, I'm afraid, but certainly we have looked at things, and I'm certainly not short of people trying to sell me interesting novel ideas, particularly printing companies seeking to replicate the Bundesliga cardboard crowd thing, which actually is great. Listen, we're in the entertainment business. We want to retain a relationship with the fans. We want to keep them as involved as possible. Of course, that's a lot easier in the digital age, and we'll be doing an awful lot on our website and social channels and things like that. But if there's a way that practically we can involve people, be it a video wall or the cardboard crowd on the seats, absolutely we'll look at it. We are exploring all of those things.
No dolls, that's all I'm asking. I'll move on quickly. Obviously, there is this plan to have between 16 and 18 races. The first 8 races, we know what they're planning. After that, we're looking at going to Eurasia, Asia, Americas, Mexico, Brazil. If those races aren't able to happen, Stuart, have there been discussions about Silverstone hosting more than just the 2 rounds that are planned at the moment?
There have not been discussions along those lines, Jenny. No, we're a circuit that runs all year, 12 months a year, and we could of course host another race later if that would help. But from a World Championship point of view, it's really important that Formula One gets away to some of the glamorous, far-flung destinations that are normally listed on the calendar. I know that my fellow promoters, all of whom I know well, are really keen to welcome the championship to their respective countries, and they'd be really disappointed. Of course, it's a really challenging situation for the planners at F1 to know which country will be in ahead of the corona curve or behind the corona curve at the right point in time, and they have various options, but all of these things are governed by some real world logistical challenges. They've got a huge amount of freight to get around the world. They've got to put it together in a sensible, realistic way, but at the moment there has been no suggestion that if they can't go away on what's known as the flyaway rounds, that they should hunker back down. And frankly, the drivers probably would say they'd rather go to another circuit. 3 trips around Silverstone, fantastic though it is, it would perhaps not provide the challenge they're looking for in a season.
Fair points. Mercedes, the 2 drivers there, Valtteri Bottas, Lewis Hamilton, will be testing this week at Silverstone, though, just to get their eye in. That's going to be exciting for you guys, isn't it? Just to have, a 6 times world champion and Valtteri Bottas as well there, and making use of your beautiful circuits.
We love it when people come testing. In fact, when I left the office last night, I saw that Lewis's motorhome was in, ready for him to be there. I use the term motorhome in the broadest sense. It is the most fantastic articulated lorry, double story with double slide out. I've never been invited in, but it looks simply palatial. It looks bigger than my house. But anyway, he'll be staying on site for a few days, and we love it. I mean, Lewis is a proper legend, a living legend. He's a hero, and his relationship with Silverstone is fantastic. Of course, he's a member of the British Racing Drivers Club, so he's sort of got a bit of emotional skin in the game as well. And the crowd love him, and he brings the crowd in. And as a promoter, he's exactly what you want. I mean, he's the one truly global star, and it's no surprise to me at all that he's used his global status and his genuinely honest, good moral compass to address some of the matters of the moment in the last week or so. He's a good man with a really good heart and a sense of what is right in the world, and not only is he one of the greatest sportsmen this country has ever produced, but he's now using that platform for wider good. I have nothing but admiration for Lewis Hamilton.
Stuart, it's been fantastic to talk to you. Just to let you know, 3:35. We've got live commentary of the 2000 Guineas, so just thought I'd steer you toward that.
Thank you. I will be listening.
Good. Stuart, great to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.